Yo, it's Real 92.3, LA's doing for hip-hop. Bootleg Kev DJ Hed.
West Coast.
Special guest, the homie G Herbo in the building.
Yo.
He's here.
PTSD dropping this Friday.
Yes, sir.
Welcome
This
to the
Friday.
show, goddammit.
Yes,
Welcome.
sir, man. Thanks for
A
having
few
me,
times you're
man.
supposed to be up here. I don't know what happened. It was his fault.
Getting lost in translation, man. A lot of shit getting lost in
Nah,
translation.
he always on a flight. That's what it is.
Yeah, I be moving around, man, but I be here. You know, I got a place in LA, man, so I can make this home. You
For
know
real?
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Let's go, man. PTSD, I do feel like it's not talked about enough, you know, that when you grow up in certain environments that, like, you know, you can have PTSD. We always associate that with being in the military, going to war. But, you know, when you grow up in certain environments, that's something that even if, you know, you go to jail, you get out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, talk about why naming the album that, why shine the spotlight on that.
Not even can. I believe if you grow up in certain environments, 9 times out of 10, you do have PTSD. 80, 90% of these kids, you know what I'm saying, majority of these kids do grow up with PTSD, you know what I'm saying? Just because we have to normalize real life, you know what I'm saying? We got to normalize growing up in these poverty-stricken neighborhoods where murder is regular, you know what I'm saying? Where drug abuse, where addiction, all of that stuff is regular. And me being a product of that, it's important for me to, you know, to shed as much light on them subjects as possible, because I was once them, you know, I was once that kid that was so caught up in the streets and gun violence and all the shit that was going on, the stuff that was going on in my neighborhood. I kind of like, I didn't know that it was a sickness. You know, I was so immune to it. I didn't know that I was suffering from this mental health disorder where I feel like I got to carry a gun to ensure my safety, or I can't go here, I can't go there. You know, I got to think this way, or I got to want to get high so I could kind of like desensitize certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these kids, they think this is just normal life. You know what I'm saying? But you got to lean towards it in order to make it better. So that's why I named my project PTSD.
When you grow up,
I was clinically diagnosed with PTSD.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
That's what I was about to ask you.
No, yeah.
How long ago was that?
Over a year, a little over a year.
Yeah. Did they try to like push the medication on you immediately, or was it therapy?
No. You know, I got a strong will, man. So I don't really feel like I need medicine. You know what I'm saying? But it was really just a matter of me talking to a therapist. And really, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never even think, to be honest, I ain't think it was nothing where like I would be interested in doing, or nothing that would fit me, you know what I'm saying, on my character. But talking to somebody who never like experienced a lot of these things, like I was talking to my therapist, she a woman, she in her 30s, and she's Caucasian. She was telling me like a lot of the stuff that I was telling her, she never even heard or imagined, except for like in movies, like actually watching TV. You know, she ain't never really heard of nobody really getting in the shootout as soon as they leave out the house. As soon as they leave out the house, or somebody waiting on you outside your house and you got to get in the shootout, or having to carry a gun to school and getting in a shootout out on bus stops. You know what I'm saying? Wait, you know, like stuff like that. So, and that's normal. You know what I'm saying? That's so normal. Where I come from, you feel what I'm saying? Like, it's real life stuff that's, like, I've been in instances where people was close, maybe as close as we are in this room, and put a gun in my face and flashed it and it didn't go off. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I done been through stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's like, you know,
That's the norm.
Yeah, that's the norm.
When you the therapist part, I want you to touch on that, because a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, I know some people that advocate for mental health say that you should get a therapist that don't have nothing to do with what your life is, like a Caucasian woman who's probably never been in your circumstances.
Yeah.
Or do you feel like you probably benefit with somebody that would know your circumstances better? A black man or somebody
No, not really. I think it's more so talking to somebody who's so far removed from that, because they could kind of, like, I think no matter what, the same skills apply to life, the same morals and the same stuff apply to life, no matter what instances you know what I'm saying, up against or situation. So I think talking to somebody who's so far removed from it could kind of open your brain in a way that you didn't even think that you could. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who already understood and know they probably not gonna tap into a part of your brain, like, all right, you know, you probably could think or do things that way. You know, like a lot of times she done told me stuff that was like, oh, I never thought of it that way.
It could be childhood trauma too. What age do you feel like you got desensitized to shit?
By the time I was in 8th grade, I was all the way like
all the way
desensitized to killing. Death was normal to me already by the time I was in 8th
So before
grade.
that, it was still like, oh my God, what am I going through?
Yeah, because I started experience death when I was younger, like around 6th grade, 5th grade, you know what I'm saying? When you were like somebody you know from the neighborhood or passed away, or somebody you know that older, went to school with you, maybe a grade or two older, he died. So it's like you not all, like you connected to it, but I think by the time I got in 8th grade, like people who was hanging with me, like my homies started to pass away. And it started to, become like a cycle almost. It was like all the time, but that wasn't even like my first introduction to death or nothing, but it was when it started hitting home. Was, say for instance, all three of us cool and we playing basketball, and then the next day I come to school, you not here no more. So it's like that'll make you think it could be you.
Right. Yo, what's crazy is, we just lost Pop Smoke last week, and you would think that like his like the place where he would be least safe is where he was from, but he comes out here and that happened to him. And there's a big discussion going on about Waka just came out today and said that he didn't agree that, because there's a big discussion going on that rappers are being targeted, or they feel like they're targets. Is that something that you feel like is true? Do you feel like you have a target on your back being a rapper?
Even if it's not the case, you should feel like that, because we putting ourselves in that forefront to become a target. We wearing a lot of jewelry, and coming from where we come from, it's people who never even could imagine them touching $100,000, and we walk around with $100,000 on our neck and our wrist. You know what I'm saying? We got to really remember that we come from that. So a lot of times I've been making money since I was 16 years old. I didn't used to flaunt it and flash it because I knew I was around so many people who probably could never even think that they could get this. You know what I'm saying? Or probably think because I had this, I might be better, or think I'm better than them, or why do he got it and I not, or why do he have it and he not trying to help me get it? You know what I'm saying? So I think just that alone, you should feel like you have that reason alone, you should feel like you got a target on your back being a rapper or artist, because you know what I'm saying? We put ourselves in the forefront for, if everybody not really gonna support us or don't like what we doing, we giving people the opportunity to want to bring, you know what I'm saying, negativity upon us. So even if you don't got a target on your back, I think you should just move and feel like that.
Are you more careful with like, obviously the jewelry, flashing the money on Instagram, all that?
Yeah, I mean, that was never really my style anyway, to be honest. Like, I was never that artist that was like, if I wear jewelry, it's because it means something to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I ever did it to like flash or, really put people into my business and let them know what's going on. I think I do a good enough representation of letting you know that I'm wealthy. Well, you know what I'm saying? That I do.
I just think it's not smart to carry around all that
like
cash too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you be see people with $100,000 in cash, like, fam, like,
but I mean,
is that in your
I
book
get
bag?
why people do it. Sometimes you do it for motivational purposes. Sometimes you do it because you never thought that you would be in a position to do so. So you enjoying it, you living in the moment. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that, but with doing that, you got to understand what that brings.
What
also,
come with
man.
that?
Everything, a lot come with that. So when you doing it, it's like being in the streets. You been in the streets, you got to know what come with it. So being in the limelight, you got to know what come with it.
Do you ever feel like you go places and are a little anxious and you get anxiety or paranoid? Because just because everybody knows who you are, you might not know
who they
are.
Yeah, I do all the time. I'm always just aware of my surroundings anyway, and I always feel like until even though I don't probably treat you that way, you might not feel it from my energy, but deep down I feel like somebody is capable or maybe trying to hurt me or bring harm to me, so I maneuver a certain way. You might not get that energy from me because I'm be like, oh, what's up? It's cool, but I'm still aware of, you know what I'm saying, what could possibly go on in these instances. Yeah, so it's like when somebody looking at you for 30 minutes, but they might be looking at you because they like your music or something, but you gonna be like, all right, why he looking so long?
I remember one time, I don't know if you remember this, but one time you were hosting a club out here in LA, and I think that's the first time I met you. And like you said, your energy was just like that.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is you treated everybody in there with respect, and I knew them niggas, the ones that was shaking your hand, and I know like who they are, and you still was like very calm, greeted everybody with respect, and it was just like that energy you got from everybody to me was phenomenal for you not being from here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think with that, I embrace it because a lot of times, and it's like it's a double standard almost, because coming from where we come from in the inner city, you standoffish. You like you don't want to embrace other people or embrace other hoods because you know what may have happened to somebody, man, if did that or put themselves in that position in your hood. People like, you know what I'm saying, they try to take advantage of that. So you know what I'm saying, he too friendly.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's like I think I do a good job staying in the middle of like, because people look at that like, you know how dogs smell feel, people can too. You know what I'm saying? I feel like people can smell feel. They smell they feel your energy. They feel when you stand off it, and they attack just off that. Even if they not even the type to attack off that, they attack just because they feel you intimidated. So I mean, I'm always prepared for the worst, but I don't really go off thinking somebody could, you know what I'm saying, do that. Because the same way, like it's a two-way street. Just when you feel like you could bring harm to me, I could bring harm to you if I felt like I wanted to do that.
Keep it real.
Bring that energy.
Keep it real. Have you ever been on the other side of that, where you were the aggressor or the intimidating person?
Nope. I never. That's why I don't even feel that energy to come back towards me, because I know I could have been. In a lot of instances, I could have been the aggressor, somebody that intimidated somebody, and 9 times out of 10, I probably was the one with the upper hand that could have did it every time. But I never have, and I'm not even that kind of guy. I never preyed on the weak or anything like that. So I think that's why I'm able to maneuver. Like I done been around 30 niggas, homies, rap niggas, you feel me? Just stay homies by myself. I do it all the time. Yeah. And I'm comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
That's what...
How was All-Star Weekend in the hometown, man? I mean, obviously on the basketball side, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It seemed I didn't hear of any crazy incidents or anything.
Everybody behaved.
Because when I heard it was going down to Chicago, I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. No, everybody probably have felt like that.
It
right?
might have been too cold, man.
It's
might
too
have been
cold
too cold
for
for somebody
activity.
to do some bad shit. Like, man, I ain't waiting outside this club. It's too cold right here. But no, I'm just, I'm kidding. It was good. It was like, all artists from around. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere came out. Artists from Chicago popped out. It was cool. Me and Chance had a charity basketball game there, so I enjoyed my All-Star Weekend.
Talk about you and Chance's relationship, because I do feel like going back like 6-7 years ago, it was like there was two sides of Chicago. There was like Kids These Days and Vic Mensa and Chance and that side, and then there was the drill side. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it seems like over the years, you know, everyone's working together. It seems more unified. What do you think was the big reason for that?
I think really it's always been like two sides of Chicago. I always said it's a side of Chicago where you would never even think nothing is going on, and it's still little stuff happen, little BS, you know what I'm saying, all over. And then it's, you know, this side of Chicago that we come from. But I think even in the beginning, me and Chance always embraced each other. As soon as I met Chance, we bridged that gap immediately. Me and Chance got records from 2014 when I was like crazy on the drill.
Damn.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So I think really it was just a matter of us linking up, bridging that gap, you know what I'm saying, like Chance. But Chance is always the one that'll embrace you. He always the bigger artist that'll reach out to the locals and all of that, you know what I'm saying? So you know, shouts out to bro. That's my brother.
We had Vic Mensa come up here, and we were talking to him about the Chicago shit and whatnot. But where do you stand on the stigma that Chicago, like what Kev was just mentioning, like people look at it a certain way? How do you feel about it being a native?
I feel a lot. I mean, was that on the outside looking in, a lot of the criticism not true, but what's going on there true. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going on true, but the judgment side of it, like you can't really judge it, but until you put yourself in these instances, you go talk to and connect with these kids and see what they going through. And not only that, but somebody having my influence bring the resources back. Yeah, you feel me? So yeah, it is a lot. It's a lot of negativity in Chicago right now. It's a lot of killing. It's a lot of murders. But I embrace it. I embrace it being from there where I want to bring change. Where I do, you know what I'm saying? Me and my partner, we was just talking about this room. We want to build a room like this in our facility that we got in Chicago, where we bought one of the 50 Chicago public schools that got shut down, and we opened and turned it to a multimedia facilities because we want to bring that outlet, that change back to these poverty-stricken neighborhoods where a lot of killing, these high crime rate areas, you know what I'm saying? Because it is true. They just don't have the resources. You know what I'm saying? These kids don't really have many options.
I was talking to one of the homies, and he said that it's boredom. So do you feel like it's just like where you come from, people just don't have nothing to do?
It's boredom.
They don't have
idle hands, idle minds, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the reason why what we doing in Chicago right now is so important, because I come from that. I used to go to like youth centers, and we went to summer camps. We went to Six Flags, Great America in the summertime, and it kept us out of the streets.
Busy.
And then when we got taken away from us, AAU programs, all that. That's when we didn't have nothing to do. We was outside in the streets, fighting, turning to shooting, gang banging, a lot of that. And then my friends started to die. So it's really just no resources. It's not. I won't even say boredom. There's no resources. There's nobody like myself who come from that, who made change or made something of themselves that's willing to go back and make a difference. And a lot of times, like I was, like I was speaking to I was talking to Meek and shit, and he was saying like, what Meek was to, what Nip was to his neighborhood, and how he met his demise in the same neighborhood he was trying to go back to help. And of course, that's always in the back of my mind. Yeah. That's always in the back of my mind. But it's like you gotta embrace every aspect, every angle of it. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta like, of course, secure yourself and your family's safety. That's the number one priority, of course. But you gotta like, man, it's important for me to just take that risk. You gotta take chances in life. You know what I'm saying?
On the last project, you have a song called "My Bro's a Legend."
Yeah.
And I heard something on there that says you was talking about savings for your son, and on one of the bars you talking about saving for your son. You just brought up Nip, and I was talking to somebody about like how people be in the streets without life insurance, things like that be in place. Like I know Nip's kids is well taken care of. I know a couple of the homies that unfortunately pass. They kids are taken care of due to that. Do you think about that type of stuff? And do y'all ever?
I think about it all the time.
People from your neighborhood,
and then just having people around me who I'm able to learn from. You know what I'm saying? So, that's important for me to make sure that my family and my foundation, everything is secure. God forbid if anything happened to me. You know what I'm saying? So, I got people around, like what I'm saying, my partners and everybody that just, because I was in the streets, I was thugging like crazy. You know what I'm saying? It just, even with me not being in the streets no more, I probably should have had it more so then than now.
That's what I'm asking. Like, is that something that you talk to people about, like that's from your neighborhood, or maybe?
I should. I ain't had a lot of conversations like that with my homies. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people don't really like want to step into the reality of it. People really be in denial, like be in the streets, like nigga be in the streets every day.
I'm gonna live forever.
Thugging, and then you have a conversation with them about death or jail, and then they want to avoid it. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we up against every day when we put ourselves in these situations. So it is important for you to have a what if strategy.
I fuck with that.
100%. Obviously, you and Juice had a close relationship. He's on the album.
Yeah.
It's a record with Chance and Uzi on.
Yeah.
That's the title. The title.
PTSD is the title track. Yeah.
Losing him had to be, at least he was one of my favorites, out of this new generation. And the thing, I think he didn't get enough credit as far as like his bars, because he could really rap his ass off. What was your guys' relationship like, man? Like
that was my little brother, man. It was like, genuine. It had nothing to do with music at all, man. Like, he's like, we live 10, 15 minutes away from each other. You know what I'm saying? It was like a point where, you know what I'm saying, my girl getting mad, I'm spending so much time over his house, you feel what I'm saying? Like, that was my real little brother, So, like you said, like tremendous talent, like amazing,
oh my God,
amazing artist, you know what I'm saying? Like, amazing artist. And I learned from him, to be honest, like him being my little brother, just really learning, watching him, his art. He was an artist through and through, you know what I'm saying? So to be a part of, you know what I'm saying, what he left us with, that's a blessing.
100%. The record that you have with him on the project, is that a record that you guys like that you have had for a while prior to him passing? Or was that
yeah. Of course. It was a record that we had already. We got tons of records. I got all kinds of records with him. And I knew it was gonna be a special record. You know what I'm saying? When we recorded it, it was a title track. That's why I intentionally put him on it. You know what I'm saying? All my features fit me. You know what I'm saying? So for it to be like the title track and the message behind it, I didn't think nobody else should be on that hook but Juice.
This was the title track before he passed.
Yeah, okay, absolutely. And you know what I'm saying, it's heartbreaking that, we gotta be, you know what I'm saying, here without LeBron. We can't really, you know what I'm saying, celebrate it together or just, you know what I'm saying, enjoy this moment together. Rather. But yeah, I feel like that this definitely is the most important record on my project, of course. It always was before Lil Bro met his demise, man. And I just was really saying in my last interview, like, I think, and this is my opinion, I'm gonna keep giving my opinion. I think what Juice was like for Chicago and for our generation and the impact that he left in such short time is, you know, history repeat itself. Is kind of similar to what Biggie and Pac did in their generations before. You know what I'm saying?
For this generation,
For
I feel
me,
like him and X.
Here, this amount of time, just real.
Absolutely.
Nah, him and X had like such a prolific impact in such a short amount of time.
Him and X, definitely. Like, I feel
and
that's
Juice. I feel like Juice was like you said, just the most. Like he could write a pop record. He could outbar you. Like, I remember you having a back and forth with Joyner Lucas right after Juice had passed.
Shouts out to Joyner Lucas too. I don't never like I was saying I ain't got no no.
But I'm curious, like obviously with how Juice passed, like is it a teachable moment for like your peers? Because I do feel like
I was
we're
feeling
losing
away. I was
no,
feeling away
for sure. I just feel like we are losing a lot of people. Whether it's through violence or through substance abuse. Like, is that something that you think like you learn from, or that your peers can learn from, just based on what's been happening? In the last couple
and
years?
That's why I embrace all my vulnerability through my music. You know what I'm saying? I was addicted.
I respect that.
I was addicted to Xanax. I was addicted to Percocets. I was addicted to lean for years. I've been addicted to lean. I was addicted to lean when I was probably 15, 16 years old. You know what I'm saying? I've been to rehab, detox facilities. I've been twice, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Well, I really went to Phoenix, Arizona, and got cleaned up.
That's what's up, bro.
Got cleaned up.
Congrats.
And I stayed down there for 5 days at a time. You know what I'm saying? I went 2 different times. You feel what I'm saying? Because addiction is real. Substance abuse is real, man, especially coming from where we come from, where you don't really know how to deal with anxiety because it's so normalized, where you go through a traumatic event and you don't even have time to grieve because life goes on, and people don't even want you to grieve because they feel you got to behave a certain way, or you soft, or you know what I'm saying, or you feel me, or nobody is going to really respect you grieving because they going through the same thing or something worse, and they don't know how to deal with their problems, you know what I'm saying? Or just imagine being an artist like Juice WRLD, where you this big and you the biggest thing in life, and you got to go and please these people, appeal to this crowd, do this show, and you probably fighting anxiety that you didn't have since you was a kid, you know what I'm saying? So I think really my message and what I try to, show the kids and just help them learn through my music and my life period is we all human, you know what I'm saying? We all have emotions. We all go through stuff where you really, you know what I'm saying, probably don't know the next step, but that's normal. It's okay to not know the next step, but as long as you working towards figuring that out, you know what I'm saying? And drugs that's not the way. That's not the way, you know what I'm saying? Because you wake up and you go through the same problems. You got to find out a way to deal with your problems yourself.
What was a determining factor for you going to rehab?
My son. That was my son.
I respect that.
Yeah, my son. Spending time with him, and I want him to be how I feel like I gotta be how when I'm around my kid. You know what I'm saying? Or and not being able to fully be the father for my son because I'm letting drugs get in the way of that in my lifestyle and shit like that. So I always knew I was the guy. I always knew that me doing drugs was wrong. Like I knew that I could die everything doing it.
Right.
When I was doing it, I knew what it was. Even before people started, before Speaker Knockers passed away and all this, I knew I could die from taking drugs, but I still did it. You know what I'm saying?
100%. I just saw you spoke the other day about how you and your baby mom are like co-parenting and getting along and shit. And I've been through that situation. Like, how hard is that? Like, coming at, because you guys had a pretty public relationship. You know what I'm saying? But like, why is it so important to make sure that like that relationship is solid? Because it's usually it's hard. It's a very tough thing to accomplish.
First and foremost, I come from that kind of foundation. My mom and dad been together for 30 plus years. You know what I'm saying? So I know how important that is on the kids' upbringing, even if y'all not together, to establish some type of middle relationship where y'all could both have enough mutual respect for each other to put the kids, you know what I'm saying, interests and everything first. So it wasn't easy, of course. Everybody could see that it wasn't easy, but you know what I'm saying? I feel like our love for my son is everybody's first priority, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, that's still my son, mom. I got nothing but love for her. I want the best for her. And you know, I'm a man, so I get in front of, you know what I'm saying, all my responsibilities as a man, and I get in front of my mistakes as a man and just try to correct them, and I feel everything gonna work out how it need to anyway. So yeah, we doing a good job.
I respect that.
Is that like, obviously now, you know, she's in a public relationship now with art. You guys have a record together, right? You and Yo?
No.
No? Okay. But is that like do you have to have a conversation with her new man? Like if your son's going to be around him, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Out of respect.
I feel like the respect level always there regardless, even if it's not a conversation.
Right.
But, you know what I'm saying? Certain lines just won't be crossed and stuff like
Like,
that.
yeah.
But,
like both of y'all are A1 dudes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. So I don't really think like that's really a matter or anything. But even if that was the case, you feel me? I wouldn't mind sitting down having a conversation with him if he was going, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Be in my son's life, some shit like that, or be around her.
I always see like sometimes people like, oh, in order for you to be around my son, I got to have a conversation with you first, kind of check the temperature.
I mean, that's my son. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like I'm raising him. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know,
you hands-on involved.
Exactly. I'm already hands-on involved, where it's like, don't nobody really need to have a conversation about my kid because I got my kid.
I fuck with that.
Yo, what? I feel like you and Dirk and a couple other people who came out of the drill scene, like you guys have evolved so much musically as artists, as MCs, like, and really kind of the drill movement, that era was such like a special time in hip hop, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like you guys, the longevity of it maybe wasn't there, but you guys evolved. What was that something hard for you to do as an artist?
Yeah, of course, because we came up in the drill wave where it was street oriented. It was inspired by, you know what I'm saying, street rap and just that whole wave, you know what I'm saying? So many people, so many families, so many people lost their lives in the middle of that, you know? So it's like just that whole, well, we was just embracing our life, you feel what I'm saying? We was just embracing what we going through, you know what I'm saying? And we weren't really glorifying nothing, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that whole wave was always, it was something like, don't get me wrong, it changed a lot of people's lives, but it was always like misguidance. We misled so many people with that, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like in that we had to reinvent ourselves, you know what I'm saying? I did, Dirk did, you know, because it was a lot of misconception about what drill was. And, oh, yeah, that's just street rap where they glorifying murder and shit like that. But we really was just trying to kind of bring people in our life.
100%. No, you guys are, so the album comes out Friday. A lot of dope features.
Yeah.
21's on the album.
Yeah.
Polo G.
Yeah, 21, Polo, Chance, BJ. Uzi.
Yo, I can't wait to hear the title track. That's a hell of a posse track.
No, that's
right there.
definitely crazy.
Who's on the hook of that record?
Juice.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be crazy. When you saw Juice like on the Eminem album, like how dope was that? Like
that was crazy. It's him on the record with Eminem, and then I know how much he actually,
right,
you know what I'm saying,
was a big fan.
Yeah.
We had just lost Kobe Bryant. I understand you a Kobe fan.
Die
hard Kobe fan. What did just something that he meant to you or inspired you in some way, shape, or form? Or
yeah, I was just saying, actually, it was his will, his drive to achieve, to succeed, man. Like, people don't have that. Like, he didn't win 5 rings by coincidence.
Facts.
Bro. He was a real dog.
Fact.
Like, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mamba mentality.
Yeah, Mamba mentality for real. He was a real dog. He gonna go the extra mile. He gonna sweat. He gonna bleed. He gonna be hurt at the end of the game, but he gonna get the W.
Still shoot his free throws
with the flu, fucked up knees.
Exactly. So it's like, in life, you gonna have to do that. You gonna have to stick it out with the knives in your back, with the snake venom in your leg. You feel what I'm saying? You gonna have to get to that finish line. You gotta have the will to do that. And I feel that's what inspired me the most, that Kobe had. And that's what I love the most about him. Just me having a passion for basketball and just living life in general, because I know those same rules gonna apply.
Was he your favorite player as a kid coming out of Chicago?
Yeah.
I mean, because
that's interesting.
I would say,
I got a big brother.
him.
My big brother was a diehard Kobe fan. And I just looked up to my brother so much playing basketball, and you know what I'm saying? Just, I was always a Kobe
But
fan.
you got heat for that being in out there.
Yeah. Everybody
was riding for Derrick Rose.
I was a Kobe fan when it wasn't even cool to be a Kobe fan.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, for real.
I bet you, the Derrick Rose wave, like 2010, 2011 in Chicago had to be crazy.
No, it was super, super crazy. I still, Derrick Rose is still like one of my ultimate point guards of all time, period. Like, he's still one of my favorite point guards of all time. But I feel my favorite player of all time was Kobe. I didn't even used to say, like, who is your favorite player of all time? I never, like, of course you gonna know Jordan, but I never voiced Jordan as being my favorite player. I always said Kobe.
That's what's up, man.
Hey, can you ball? Can you hoop?
Yeah.
Have you played other rappers and stuff? Because I heard
He just said he has a
I want
charity
all
game.
the smoke.
I
bro.
heard some folklore about some rappers, but go ahead.
I want all the smoke.
You want whoever, it don't matter.
You just you say you just did a charity game in Chicago, right?
Yeah, I want smoke.
Okay.
And I ain't gonna lie, I'm hooping every day when I'm on tour, so I'm about to be hooping for. I don't know how y'all gonna see me when I get off tour if I'm playing every day consistently. For
You just gotta
50
shut up
days
Tory
straight.
Lanez. He got the ugliest shot in hip hop, and
Tory
he
is-
barks the
I
loudest.
will kill Tory.
I believe you. My man got.
I was just with bro, like literally, I was just with him.
Have you played Quavo?
No, I ain't never played Quavo.
Quavo
he got game.
Quavo got game.
Yeah,
for
Quavo
sure.
can play.
Okay.
Well, the album is out
But
Friday.
I'm nice, man.
You nice. So you whoever wanted you.
Yeah.
All right.
PTSD Friday.
That's because I got that dog. In
You got
me.
that Mamba mentality, baby. WRLD 92.3, man. Thanks for coming up, bro.